to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would somebody like to make a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make a motion, we adopt the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and second to adopt the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Adopted. Next we are open for public comments. Is there anybody that would like to make any public comments? Either items that are on the agenda or any other items, feel free to do so at this time. Please identify yourself for the record. Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda include approval of the regular city council meetings from the February 26, 2025 meeting, approve the budget comparison report for February 2025, and approve of a bartender's license for Evan J. Kircher at the Consumers Co-op.
Everything's fine.
Somebody like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. It is approved. Next, we move on to a public hearing for a combination Class B liquor fermented malt beverage license for Bodie's Event Center and Rentals, LLC, Anthony Bernanke, agent. So at this point here, I would like to declare the public hearing open. If anybody would like to speak for or against this application for this Class B liquor fermented malt, feel free at this time. Please identify yourself for the record. Again, the public hearing is open. Hearing no comments, I hereby declare the public hearing closed. Next, we move discussion possible action regarding a combination Class B liquor and fermented malt beverage license for Bodie's Event Center and Rentals, LLC, Anthony G. Bernanke, agent. So the situation is this. We obviously know that this applicant also owns the bar next door, but the two, even though the buildings adjoin, there is no common door, so you need to have a second license for this. We do have plenty of licenses available because we have a number of businesses that don't exist anymore that used to have these, used to have a license at this level. So again, it's not a problem with having them. We have them available. But again, he would be operating under two different licenses. So that's the reason for it, so that he can have full events there with alcohol and so on. But again, it would be a complete separate license.
Tavern League in support of that?
Yeah, it's been a few years ago and talked about putting a door somewhere, but there wasn't a good location. I thought underneath the stairwell it might go into the back room, so then it could run under one, but structurally, you can't do it.
Because if it was just the situation, we could expand his liquor license and just the definition of what that, and that's the only thing we would have to do. But obviously in this situation, it doesn't allow for it. And obviously, he's had a license in town for us for years, a number of years, and had no issues as far as we know. Chief even had no issues with him in his previous license, so. Okay, is there any more discussion or questions concerning this application? Hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion we approve the combination Class B liquor and fermented beverage license for Bodie's Event Center and Rentals.
Second.
We have a motion and second. It's on the floor for any other further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion's agreed to. Next, move on to the business agenda. Mayor's report. Just a couple of things to mention. First of all, that again, coming up on April the 2nd at 5:30, we're going to have that economic development session here. We're obviously looking to get as much participation as possible, not only from the people around this table, but also community members. And hopefully we'll get some people and we'll have people have some ideas about economic development, the community, and so on. But that session, again, will be coming up on April the 2nd at 5:30. The only thing I want to, other thing to mention is obviously my congratulations on behalf of the city going out to the Durand, Arkansas girls basketball team. We're going to be playing tomorrow evening over at the Rush Center in Green Bay in the Division IV state tournament. Obviously, we have a lot of great local, when the kids represented it, it sort of puts us back on the map again, especially if it's a state tournament, because you're on TV and you get all those things, and that's important. But again, the hard work of the team, obviously my congratulations goes out, wish them the best of luck. And again, for all the folks that are going over, have a nice safe trip over, and to be able to cheer on the girls. And again, so congratulations on qualifying for the WIA state tournament. That's all I've got tonight. Any questions? If not, we'll move on to administrator's report.
Sure. So as my memo stated, the new website's live. We're going to do a little demonstration here in about 2 minutes. It's being updated, so please be patient with that. Next city council meeting, I will have an update for you regarding IT consulting. I've contacted some companies and finally have some numbers to share with you, so hopefully we can take some action to move forward and get that addressed. My memo says that I will be meeting with a rep from the Wisconsin EDC. I did meet with him today. A gentleman named Mark Tallman came from La Crosse, and he and I had a very good conversation. He would like to attend the meeting on the 2nd, if you're okay with that.
Yep.
He was very encouraged at the fact that we were going to be meeting, and he said he would love to come and share his insight. And so he is a vibrant man. He has got a lot of good ideas for how to create economic development, so I was pleased to be meeting with him. Auditors will be on site next week. We also got a letter from the State Department of Administration regarding the Housing Revolving Loan Fund through CBDG, that they are discontinuing that program locally. They're going to turn it into more of a statewide program. What's happened is the dollars that have been, I guess just so everybody understands, dollars were supposed to be given out, help people in need with their housing, construction, reconstruction, etc. Once it's paid off, it gets sent back to the community, interest is earned, it sits in a pot waiting to be distributed again. What the state has found is that those monies are not being distributed like they had hoped. And so they're going to be expecting all those dollars to be given back to the state, and the state will then manage a different type of program, similar but different, managed by the state. Not sure what the date is of that, when that ends, but just making you aware that that's what's happened. Renee from Cedar has been the housing authority person who's been taking care of this for the city. She is going to be taking care of all the back end things and keeping us updated on that. So just
Do we
be aware of
have
it.
all of ours just sitting in the account now, or how much is left?
Yeah, I don't have all the exact numbers, and she will get more information as to what the state's gonna be looking for documentation and numbers and information and outstanding debts and those type of things. So this is rather preliminary, but we'll have more information for you as we go along. So, and as those meetings are held, that are needed, required. Then last but not least, the League of Wisconsin Municipalities got this flyer today in Menominee on March 27th. They're holding a regional roundtable. Everybody's invited to attend that. It's $20 per person fee. All staff and elected officials are welcome. Starts at 4 o'clock. It's a Thursday, I believe. If you are interested in attending or want more information, see me after the meeting or shoot me an email and I'll get you the information for it and get you signed up on the city. So that's all I have.
Yeah, with the community development block, that the letter that we received, that they're gonna have sessions around the state to explain it. What I picked up on it, what I'm assuming will probably happen is any money that you presently have in that program, and remember, this wasn't local taxpayer dollars. This was money that was given to us to do this, and they're saying we're gonna take that money back. The number that I believe in the letter was that there's $22 million sitting statewide, where we have a couple $100,000 that would be, again, we would just return that money. Any money, I'm assuming that's lent out, once it returned to us. And again, we will probably get some details concerning, some of that interest that we gained over the years, or the anything, what I'm saying, is there anything else in there that, do we get to keep any for running the program or something like that? So we'll find that out over the next few months, and we'll just see where we're gonna go with that. Okay, any questions for city administrator? Okay, so the next thing we had talked about was with the new, I asked that there be a sort of a quick presentation on the new website. Again, it's one of those things, I know she said that it was available for people to do that, But just to have her go through, have Tracy go through some of the things that will be with that, so.
Yeah, can you all see it? Is that all right? Okay, so just briefly, because I know we all have things to do and we want to get moving on here. This is the new website, so the pictures, everything is adjustable and amendable and changeable, so we can change these pictures, we can change whatever we want on here. Working with staff, we came up with the bubbles on the bottom here, the circles, so right away, someone can make an online payment, check the calendar, city ordinances, there's a link there. Agendas and minutes, forms and permits. So it's just an amazing site. Here
Where'd
we
you
have.
get those really cool drone photos from?
Yeah, where did we get this from? I think we got this from somebody that's sitting at the table. Yeah.
Buffalo County.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah, wow. Ouch, yeah. So,
Sorry.
yeah, you'll see here, local notices. So our goal is to make sure that the notices are up to date and kept up to date. So as things change, so like the snow removal, we're not gonna have any more snow, right, you guys? We'll make sure that that gets updated. We are adding more things to the calendar, so you'll see here that there's a lot of things going on. If you hover over, this is showing that there's absentee voting in person coming up here next week, and then runs through there, and then we have all these lovely pictures, different things happening, you know, all the highlights, basically what anybody would be coming here for. We are intending on creating a business directory. We need to work on putting that list together. Right now, this is a blank page, but there was ideas from staff that we help promote our local businesses and having a directory right on our homepage to do that. A couple things else to point out. So up here we have government. One big thing that we changed or found that this offers is this is the way the minutes used to be shown, was just agendas and minutes was just a list of PDFs. Well, what we found is they have what they call a plugin that allows us to do it by date, and then we can add an agenda, a packet, and then as the minutes are approved, we add it for each meeting. So it's easier to find, it's all in one spot. So it's a very transparent and like you can see, here's the minutes here, and then you just click on its PDF. So that was a nice update. We also have staff directory, which has all of our information in it as just a drop down. So you click on the box and it shows what the contact information is for whoever you're looking for. And then services is still working on updating all of this, but we did, so prior, the police department had their own website standalone. I was able to take the information off of that website and move it to this one. Stan's looked it over and you know, when there's changes we made, we can certainly do that. But here, everything is here. So there's the mission statement, use of force policy, everything that he had on his other site. We have election information. So basically, it's all encompassing. That's the goal, is to make sure we get as much information on here so that the public can find whatever they're looking for. They don't need to call us. They won't need to reach out. They won't need to email. Not that we don't want that, because of course, if people have questions, we encourage them to do so. But this is just going to be a much easier website to find things. Community, we have the library on here, the school district, Pepin County, different community maps that will get updated. So it's just, like I said, all encompassing. So if you see anything while you're on here that you think needs to be updated or should be changed, the verbiage should be different, you want something added, certainly let us all know in the office and we'll get that added.
What about a page for like people that move here
Mm-hmm.
to like, you know, who do I call to get
Mm-hmm.
garbage? Who do I call to get
Yep,
gas?
utility page, yep,
All of that. That would just
Absolutely.
be kind of on one spot.
yep, we can do
I
that.
know the options aren't plentiful, but it might,
Oh, but they are,
it might help save them time of
Absolutely.
asking those questions.
absolutely. Very good point, we can make sure that we add maybe a page for move-ins, yeah, or for welcome to the community or whatnot. Yeah, for sure. So it's that type of thing that we're looking for, because like we knew the website was quite old before and not as customizable as this, and there are a lot of features that can be added to this website. So I hope you're pleased with how it looks and how it turned out. We're all pretty happy with how it looks. You know, it's so much cleaner and easier to navigate. So yeah. So again, any input, we're welcome to hear it from
Nice
the public or from any of you. So. That's all I have.
And is that
That's all I have.
live or is this still?
This is live. No, this is live.
Nice.
Yep. It's very live. So please check it out. Yeah, go look it over and see if you find things that are broken or aren't working or whatever, because there's a lot to look over and go through. So it's a work in progress, but we're very, very happy with how it turned out and how they put it together, and we hope you are too. So.
Works.
Yeah, I think,
We good?
this administrator, and of course, all the staff that helped put this together, and it's sort of a work in progress. We're always looking to improve it, making sure we're adding, updating, and those types of things. but obviously as user-friendly as possible, so anybody in the community or visitors or someone can find that information and to be able to do that. And I think it was sort of important to show everything here tonight, so just so everybody had a chance to take a look. Okay, next we move on to discussion possible action on participating in the state debt collection program for EMS, delinquent billing, and other outstanding debts. If you remember right, when we went through our audit, we found out that there was a concern over, about debt collection. We hadn't been, and there's ways of doing it. You do it yourself, you hire a company to do it, and the city administrator has gone through and looked at a number of different ways to get to the point, and this is a program through the state of Wisconsin, and she'll sort of explain about how it works and exactly, but again, it was important for us to work on those collections for EMS and so on. So we'll turn it over and have the city administrator explain.
Absolutely. So this is a state, this is done through the Department of Revenue. It's called the State Debt Collection Program. They are able to assist in collecting any debt owed to a municipality. So that would include delinquent water, sewer, EMS billing, special assessments, taxes, anything that's owed to a municipality, the state can assist with. They do have some provisions where the debt has to be 90 days or older, 90 days old or older. There has to be a notice given to the person, customer, whoever it might be, patient, that they are going to be sent and referred to collections. So we have to send a letter out to that. And then once it's sent to the state agency, the Department of Revenue for this program, they take care of it all. They charge a 15% cost of the total debt for their fee. And then, it's a collection fee is what they charge, and that gets tacked on top of the amount that's owed. So very easy
On top?
program. What's that?
It's added to the amount?
Yeah, it's a 15% collection fee that they
Okay.
charge. Yeah. So, so they when they receive the payment from the person who owes, then they send it to us, and then we work in tandem to clear up the accounts.
How much debt is out there? Do you have a number?
I don't have a number off the top of my head. We can only go back 6 years on EMS billing,
Okay.
so I would need to get that and
It
do a
was
run
quite a
report.
bit, though.
It was quite a bit, yes, it's quite substantial.
It's substantial.
It's a substantial amount. I don't know the exact amount, I don't want to mislead you. Give you
Okay, so
it's wrong.
Is it 15%? Let's say they owe us $100, so now they owe $115. Is that what you're saying?
So it's not,
They'll charge you.
Yeah.
it's not on our
Not on us.
dime.
No. So,
Do they have a big Louis?
a big what?
He's the main bill collector.
Oh, a big yeah, maybe, I don't know. So anyway, just asking for authority to go ahead and sign on with the program, get this started. My goal is to hopefully have a system in place by no later than April 1st for starting this delinquent process for EMS billing. And then start exploring maybe for delinquent water sewer accounts too. I have to work with county. There's some other issues that are coming up with that have been brought to my attention. But at any rate, it can be used for anything. So I would just ask for the authority to go ahead and sign on with them and start that process of starting to charge the delinquent, getting the delinquent EMS charges.
I think that's a great idea. I would like to see a total amount, just kind of,
Sure.
this is property taxes, these EMS or whatever it is.
So their water and sewer aren't just tacked onto their taxes?
Yes, they are right now. That's another whole conversation.
Okay.
County's not happy with that process. And so they're looking for other options, and I said I would explore other options, and this came
So
about.
that's why you're exploring that with this option?
Yes, yes, as a different
And they
option.
would be better with that option?
And I need to confirm that with them, that they would be okay with that, yeah. The
And why
process.
why don't they like?
At this time, they don't like to they feel like they're a collection agency for the city. By us putting it on the city, on the taxes, they make us whole, they pay us all that amount,
Gotcha.
and then they collect, and they feel like they're being our collection agency, and they don't like that. So, I got that phone call almost immediately after I started here, that they're not happy with that process. And I said, well, let me see what else we can find out, but give me a little bit of
Is
time.
that the way
So,
it generally is other places?
other places, yes, but, there's not near as much delinquency that's added to tax roll in other places.
Interesting.
Just because the process is in place.
Statutorily, they don't, I don't necessarily know if they can stop
no.
us. from
They can't tell us
that,
no, right,
so.
right, but they were looking for other options for collections of the water sewer bills.
And one quick question on this, with the way the state does this about adding the 15%. The other, well, I mean, this is a state agency doing it. But if a private collection agency, do they basically come in and say they'll collect it and then they'll just take a cut of it?
Yes,
This is a little bit different.
yes,
Because most of the time they would come in and say that we're gonna take 15% or 20%
Right.
of everything we collect,
right,
is what most private companies would do.
that's right.
And would private companies also maybe charge a fee,
Contract fee.
a contract fee, and those are things that we're avoiding by going this direction?
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I'm working very closely with Jenny to put a process in place so we know exactly how we have to process it. She's found some other tools in the software that we're using for billing that will assist with this delinquent process, and so we're trying to get that in place.
So who's making collections now?
No one.
Really,
Okay,
nobody.
that's why.
Not Louis.
Yeah, not Louis. Yeah, not Big Louis.
You'd be paid, I'm telling you.
Can I get a name tag? Maybe I can do that.
Yeah, well, you gotta look like Big Louis.
Oh, and I don't.
There's no question that
And you gotta be from Chicago.
Yeah.
he's actually a character in my life, so you did not say no to him. I would love to see, when you send out the letter that they're gonna go to processing for collections, that this will incur a 15%.
Sure.
In addition, I think that might, I don't know.
Yeah,
just-
might have a little bit more incentive to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the state does have a template that they've given, that I found on the website, and I can certainly alter that template
Okay.
to add that on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to give that extra incentive. Hey,
Yeah, and-
take care of this debt right now, and then you won't have to.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And the state does have there is a website where people can go and pay the debt that they're being billed through this program, and on there is how do I pay my debt? And frequently asked question page, and it explains it as well on that page as well. So, but yes, it would be a good idea to have it in the letter.
yep.
Any other questions? Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the state debt collection agreement?
I can make a motion to approve the state
We have a motion, is there a second?
Yeah.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Let's get it done.
It's on the floor for any other discussion. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a roll call on that since it's an agreement.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Raisler,
Yes.
Councilmember Weisenbeck,
Yes.
Councilmember Weisapple,
Yes.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Councilmember Hooker,
Yes.
all six in favor.
Thank you.
Motion's agreed to. Next, we move on to public safety. Chief Ridgway.
Just a couple quick things. We conducted interviews tonight, public safety did. We had 5 applicants for our opening. We interviewed 3 of them. We're not ready to make any decisions this evening. Tracy and I are gonna meet about it the next couple weeks, and we'll have everything prepared for council for the March 26th meeting. The move to our new building went fairly smooth. It was a lot of work, and it's still a lot of work getting address changes and things like that all squared away. But the officers seem to be liking the space. We've got it set up pretty nice where the officers now have their own desk space. We have more garage space, so it's working out really well. We appreciate you guys' support with that. The ambulances support with allowing us to move in with them. So thank you guys for that, and things are going smooth with our move. Our squad situation, another example of why we definitely do not want to try to push our squads past 6 years. We had a recall on our day shift squad, so we ran it over to Ellsworth Ford to get fixed, and John brought the night squad, which is the one we're getting rid of within a couple weeks here. And he gets to Ellsworth and he's like, Stan, he said, I think we have a transmission issue. He's going up the hills on Highway 10 towards Ellsworth, the trainee started slipping. So our night squad is out of service, parked in the garage, and I called our installer and said, any chance you can get us in early? And he's like, no. He said, it'll be about another week or so. So we're down 1 squad, and that will definitely hurt our trade-in value on that night squad, but it definitely feels like a trainee slip on it. So that's out of service. We assisted today with the escort for the girls' basketball team. Wish them the best of luck. We were happy to assist with that, and it was amazing community support for that event. So that's all I have.
Any questions for the chief? And following up to that, the closed session on 9 will be we don't need it because obviously we need some other stuff to do before we get to that. So item number 9 on tonight's will not take place. Okay, next we have discussion possible action regarding the purchase of suppressors.
So, a couple of years ago, the council approved suppressors for our patrol rifles. It's a way to protect the officers' hearing if they were ever involved in a situation where they had to discharge their rifles in an enclosed space. So it helps protect officer safety. We did add a patrol rifle so that all 3 of our squad cars would now have patrol rifles. Last year, we traded in a couple of shotguns, removed them out from service, and got the patrol rifle. We didn't get enough for trade-in to purchase a suppressor, so we're looking at purchasing one this year. Reviewing the budget, we've got plenty of funds to purchase it. It was over $500, so I wanted to make sure I brought it here to council. We got bids when we purchased the suppressors, and this was the low bid at that time, and now we just want to purchase the same one, so we have the same suppressors on all 3 of our weapons. So it's through Sentinel, and it is $950 for the suppressor and flash hider
For one?
for one.
Wow.
Yep.
Does that change the velocity?
I think it does change the velocity a little bit, but I don't know like numbers on how much it does,
Okay.
like a percentage or anything like that. But yeah, it would change the velocity. So, and it's not you think of a silencer in a movie where you can't hear it. It really, you can still hear the weapon. It's just that it muffles it a little bit more. You still wear ear protection when you're out at the range, but it's just not nearly as damaging to an officer if they were ever having to discharge their weapon. So.
Any other questions concerning the purchase of the suppressor? Again, it's a budget item, but I'd like a motion to go ahead with that.
Make a motion, we approve the purchase of the suppressor for the police department.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Or I should correct myself. It's in the budget to do, but it's not, anyways.
It's not a single item.
Yeah. But anyway, any other discussion concerning the purchase? If not, roll call, please.
Councilmember Raisler,
Yes.
Councilmember Hooker,
Yes.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Weisenbeck,
Yes.
Councilmember Weisapple,
Yes.
all 6 in favor.
Next, move on to the fire department. I see the chief is here. I know, is he training tonight? Are they still
So.
doing that?
He's actually at a wake, but yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Makes sense. So as far as, no report, but I don't know if you want to do a quick thing just to mention that rural fire conversations are
Oh.
continuing. They're continuing doing some, yeah.
Sure, yep, you want me to touch base?
Yeah, just to
Okay,
do a quick
sure.
report of that.
I received a call from Rural Fire. They are still working towards an intergovernmental agreement, coming to terms with that. Hoping to do and be ready to do something by the end of the year. They are shifting the way they're thinking about their bylaws and how they want to maybe amend those to make this happen a little faster. So stay tuned. They're apparently still working on it and periodically keeping me updated on what they're thinking. So the goal is still to potentially have something done by the end of the year. So for both parties, them and us.
Okay. Any questions on that? If not, next, of course, every year we have to approve the fire department officers. A list was included in the package, in your packets. We have Chief Jamie King, First Assistant Chief Larry Plummer, Second Assistant Chief James Settlemeyer, First Captain Matt Gillis, Second Captain Trevor Wiesinger, First Lieutenant Mark Paschal, Second Lieutenant Trevor Bear, and Training Officers Lance Bauer and Jake Pittman. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve those officers?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the slate of officers for the fire department. Is there any more discussion?
Did any of these change? Nothing's changed. No.
Nothing changed. Okay, with no other questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion's agreed to. Next we have ambulance. Anything?
No, I did not get anything from her.
Okay.
What's their move situation? They're not moved yet, right?
No, we got the computers and phones done this week. They were just moving. We had to move some the cords that plug in the ambulances because we rearranged how we were going to park in there. So they were in there today moving those plugs. So yeah, we're hoping soon we'll be able to get those rigs down there.
Public Works Utilities, no Russ tonight. Matt, you got the whole show then, huh?
I do, yes. So, 7th Avenue bids are out.
They'll be open next Thursday, the 20th, 10 o'clock here on the rebid, and then we'll get that information, and it'll be on the council meeting for the 26th of this month. Still working on the water filter project. The first the follow-up questions from the PSC came last week. Angie and Tracy and myself and Ellers answered those questions to the best of our ability and resubmitted those Monday afternoon into Tuesday. So now we're still in the waiting game to see if they have any more questions on those questions. So that's where we're at with the water rate increase, as well as the question and answer sheets on the website, as you saw on the Public Works page there, was also put on Facebook. And it was also printed in the paper, last Thursday's paper, so we're getting the message out on the rate increase as much as possible. Sticking with the water department, we found all of our leaks out of the water tower. All in all, we ended up with 2 water service leaks, a coupler leak, and a broken 4-inch valve, and then they had a private service leak on the government center's line going into their building. Everything is fixed and back to normal, actually a little under normal, so some of those have probably been leaking, some of those service leaks have been leaking for a little while. So everything is back to normal in the water department. Sewer plant, we've been having some issues with the RBC chain. The RBC that we talked about during the budget process and replacing that entire RBC for almost $450,000. That chain has broke twice now in the last 3 weeks, so we're doing our best to make sure that we can get that fixed as efficiently as possible to kind of keep that moving until we can get through to get a new one ordered. We're in I got the price on it a couple weeks ago here. We're just kind of double checking some financial information, and then we can come back potentially with a plan on how we're going to pay for that and potentially get that ordered. So other than that, tomorrow we'll have a meeting. Tracy and I have a meeting with Ellers to kind of go over the first initial plan for Madison Street. So we'll meet with them, go over have a Q&A with them, and hopefully in April we'll have a presentation for you guys on financing plan for Madison Street. Other than that, I will be gone on vacation from the 22nd of March to the 30th of March, so yes, you do let me out of the building once
Didn't you
every
just come
while.
back though?
No, not at all. So
This one's not ice fishing.
this is not ice fishing. No. This is family vacation to Mexico. So fortunately, I got to take the whole family.
Don't get
You
influenza.
just said that on YouTube.
That's all right. My wife's used to it. She knows. Other than that, any questions? That's all I got.
What's an RBC valve?
RBC is a rotating biological contactor.
Oh, yeah.
If you drive down the sewer plant, the white huts that you see there, there's a 12-foot circular disc. Half of it's in the ground, half of it's out of the ground. That's what treats our wastewater.
Okay.
Good question. Very good question.
All the acronyms, and I don't know what anything is. We talked, you'd said the construction meeting on the pool was.
Oh,
Monday.
yes, sorry, that's one, pool. So, yeah, we had a construction meeting on the pool yesterday. Next week, we're gonna start digging. We have to dig in the return drains from the gutter system. They have to do all the storm drains for the decking. We're gonna start working on digging all those in next week. 2 weeks from now, the plan is to grout the gutter system in. So we'll get the gutter system grouted in, and then 3 weeks after that, we will be brown coating and applying the tile and everything to the inside of the pool. So if that schedule holds, we should be doing the decking around the concrete decking around the pool, I would say, in that second week of May. Again, weather permitting, and then depending on how fast some of this stuff can get going. So
if the plan as it's on paper, we should be good to go by the first of June, sorry. Months are running together on me.
Pray for lots of good weather.
So far so good.
Any other questions? Okay. Next, I had put on the agenda about an update on the dog park. We're gonna put that off, correct, till the next meeting, or are you gonna do the report tonight?
She's ready.
Oh, you are ready?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
thought
can
you
talk about it now.
mentioned
She wasn't, oh, did I not tell you she was ready? I
Okay,
thought she was ready.
no, because you originally said she wasn't gonna be
She-
ready.
Right, and then she said she was. I apologize. I
Sorry.
thought I-
Anyway, and obviously, Councilmember Kavanaugh's been involved with this, but since we did just an update on where we're at and what their ideas about moving forward, so that the council would be aware.
So, last time I presented was 2022. I can go through a full presentation, and otherwise I can just go over some of the updates that I talked about with Tracy and Matt. I think probably the biggest questions are location, and money, and maybe some permissions that we have. So the location that we have in front of you, this is a wetland location that is across from the Tarrant Park ball field. There are two locations in here. So the first one that you'll see is a smaller area. Sorry, I don't have all enough for everyone, but Nick, did you get a map too?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So the smaller location that I have here, this is a little over 2 acres. Gina and I went out. Gina's also on the dog park. Mark's partner. We went out and we walked around to see where the best areas for the dog park would be if we use this area, the driest areas. And so the first one is a little over 2 acres that we found. The second one is a little less than 5 acres. It just depends on how much we can afford. Since 2022, we have gotten a $20,000 Purina grant. So right now we're sitting at about $28,000. We've been quoted anywhere between $13,000 and $37,000 for a little over 2 acre fence. So who knows how much we can afford once we actually start collecting quotes. So the permissions that are needed would, currently we have, well, last time I talked to Scott, he asked us for this location if we would collect permissions from the Pepin County Zoning Office, which I do have a letter from Maria, if anyone wants to read that. I also have a email with permission from the Wisconsin DNR with stipulations on how we would do this in a wetland area. So like, for example, the fencing, they wouldn't want us to use any concrete. We'd have to just drive it all the way down as far as we can go. No heavy equipment and such. The last permission that we would need would be permission from the city of Durand to use that property. And what are the other things we talked about? We talked about vegetation removal. So we talked maybe waiting after the forestry plan that we just approved to see what kind of vegetation gets removed from there. Some of our budget was for removal of some of the invasive species that are in there, so like the buckthorn and honeysuckle and maybe any dead trees that are in there as well. If that's happening already, then maybe the money could be put towards the fence instead. Other things that we talked about was flooding might be a problem down there. Maria said that, so long as it is a open fence, flooding shouldn't be a problem, so long as it can go through. And Matt was talking about, maybe as a blessing in disguise that we don't have concrete, because then if a pole does get bent, it can just be bent right back up. What other things I have in here? So we wouldn't, like we were in the last location that we were talking about, we wouldn't be looking for any use of water or lights. It would just be trash pickup which we had talked about. City of Durand employees would take care of the trash. The dog park group would stay on as an organization to help fundraise and cover costs of any repairs. Maybe hopefully offset any costs of city employee time. Insurance that we talked about before Scott left, he had talked about, insurance would be covered under the city of Durand's current insurance. Does anyone have any questions so far?
One of the conversations that I had with Matt about this was, with some of the trees there, the concern about the fencing would be not because the water comes up, it's because of the current and what that water could carry.
Right.
And the idea was that if we're gonna remove some and some of the trees and so on, obviously we need to open up some of the area. But maybe some of the trees along the one side, because we know which way the water flows.
Yes.
Maybe leave some of the trees there to help break so that they don't, it would be stopped before it got, And it's like, it would never be a perfect situation, but again, well, hopefully helping in the long run in case the water does come up, when it does come up, because we know it will, and to make sure that we don't have as many problems with the fence.
Yeah.
Is try to protect it as much as possible, correct?
Correct.
That was the way we were gonna approach it.
Yeah. Thankfully, walking down there, I didn't see any like huge logs, sitting in the middle of the area. But some of our budget, we were talking about maybe doing some plantings as well, of maybe like some red osier dogwood or some wetland native bushes down there as well.
Some of the issue too is that making sure we leave that buffer is, obviously our road washes out, right? And then we gotta end up going back in and reclaiming rock and, so your fence might the rock might get washed up into the fence and through the fence. If we leave kind of that, 5 to 10 foot buffer, that would catch all of that stuff, which would be easier for us to reclaim it, get it out of there and wouldn't damage your fence.
Right.
In theory.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
So the map that you presented here, with the first one, and then you added the second one, is that at the end of the day, looking at both and going one or the other. You're not talking about doing the whole site.
No, so I think it would be, we would hope for at least a 2-acre park. We'll see how much our funding can get us. I don't think $28,000 is going to be able to cover a 5-acre fence, but I don't know until I'm actually collecting any quotes. There has been talk about possibly doing this like a small dog area and a large dog area. Maybe this 2-acre park plus a little bit of this larger area would be feasible. But I'm not going to set exact boundaries until we start collecting quotes from companies.
I would look at doing this and this as an addition later.
Yeah, possibly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway, if I can add to your conversation, is that when we were talking about it, is that nothing's gonna be able to happen until we decide when we do the inventory. And the dog park group agreed with that.
Yeah.
We should see what's in there, get the inventory done. That's gonna be done this summer, and then we can decide from there how to move forward. So this isn't anything that's urgently gonna happen like this summer. 'Cause
No.
we wanna get that inventory done first.
Right,
Yeah, because
right,
the
yeah.
inventory will be done roughly June, July, and then
Yeah.
if there was any type of logging,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be happening until frost.
Right. We would wait until City of Durand is done with whatever
Yeah.
needs to happen
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
Yeah, the only approval that we're looking for is just the approval to use that site.
Which can come at a later time once we know what's going
Yeah.
on there, yeah.
Yep,
So this is just an update for everybody to
Yep.
know that this is where it is.
yeah.
And the one thing about this location, obviously, it really doesn't have another use. It obviously is a situation where there's really no neighbors except our own property. There's parking. We're right next to a park that's already being used for everything from Little League and softball, the swimming pool, everything is sort of in that same area. Of course, we got the trail there, and which is adjacent to it, and so on. So I think there's a number of things. And very easy access for the public. I mean, go down, they can park there and they can access it. So I think there's a lot of things that, and again, as we said, no real other use for this property.
We've talked about potential for revenue off of it too, if we maybe want to have memberships. I know that other dog parks have memberships or visitor fees, you paid $3 to visit the dog park, so that could help offset some of the costs too. I've had people approach me about Sniff Spot. I don't know if anyone's heard of this. It's where you can rent out, an area for a private dog park for like a half-hour increment. So something to look for in the future, maybe if we wanted to. Yeah, that's what I have. So
Good.
since 2022.
Any other questions? Thanks for this information. I think it's important to keep everybody up to date where we're at. And No other questions? As we said, we're going to forego item number 9, so we move on to let's pay the bills. Again, just a reminder, next meeting is coming up on the 26th, and then Election Day on the 1st, our Economic Development session on the 2nd. The one thing about it is, it sounded like there will be, we do have some discussions, the city administrator is working on some requests for some zoning or situation variance about some buildings, so some of those things may be coming forward, but they still got to work through a number of things first before they get either to the Board of Appeals, Planning Commission, and of course, then finally to council, correct?
If necessary.
If necessary, yeah. And as we know, following the election, we have reorganization. And it will be on the 15th. About 2 weeks after, yeah, it's already on there. Magic board. How long, I mean, I know, I think we'll be fine. And again, my plane's late as well. I'll probably be late completely if I,
Then we'll just get Travis in charge.
yeah.
Everybody needs a hooker insurance.
I just want to make sure you're gonna be with me in charge.
Yeah.
I'm sure he doesn't talk to the captain, I can sure he gets that.
Could you lean it out a little bit? I need to get this plane home. I have stuff to get to.
I was gonna say, I didn't think it was much over 100.
Do you want to report that to the council?
Must have got some back.
Yeah, to everybody, answer the question.
So Angie was able to pull it up. We have 193,000, 193,000 in our CDBG grant fund.
I didn't think so.
You were gonna say debt.
No, no, dollars in the fund.
Dollars in the fund.
Oh.
We have money in there.
No, not that, no.
In the past 2 years, they've been making pushes to try to get people to fill out applications because we've had a healthy fund for a little while.
Not many people are doing it.
We've had some that have come back, so that's why the fund is getting pretty healthy right now.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the vouchers?
I'll make a motion, we approve the vouchers as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the vouchers. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Weisapple.
Yes.
Councilmember Raisler.
Yes.
Councilmember Weisenbeck.
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Councilmember Hooker.
Yes.
All 6 in favor.
Motion's agreed to, vouchers are approved. Any other future issues or agenda items from anybody? If not, again, the next meeting's on the 26th. I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no.